Hello, this is Paola Martinsen, and today we're going to talk about how a foreclosure affects your credit. So, a foreclosure can stay on your credit report up to 7 years. That's the statute of limitations. So, after 7 years, that foreclosure will fall off your credit. But here's the thing to think about. When you fill out a loan application to go get another mortgage or even a car, sometimes even credit cards, they ask you, have you ever had a foreclosure? And if you had, the answer will always be yes. No matter 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, the answer will always be yes. Now, they're not asking, have you had a foreclosure in the last 7 years? They're asking, have you ever had one? So that weighs really heavily whether they will accept it, especially when it comes to a home loan, or even in interest rates. At a minimum, it will affect your interest rates because they look at you as a high-risk loan. Why do they look at you as a high-risk loan? Because they looked at it as you had a home, life happened to you, you could not make the payments, but you simply walked away. Now, when you do a short sale, you are actually in the process working with the bank for them to accept an offer that is less than what's owed on the mortgage, but is close to market value. So you did your part. You tried selling that property. So the way that shows up on your credit is as in paid in full, because they're accepting that offer as settlement of the debt. That's what we go for most of the time, and that's what we get most of the time. And so it shows up as paid in full for less than full. Now, that is a short sale. Now, lending guidelines change all the time. Under current lending guidelines, you can get a loan in as little as 3 years after a short sale. It used to be 7 years before, so things change all the time. So a year down the road, it could be different, but I can't guarantee you that a short sale will always be better on your credit than a foreclosure because lending guidelines change all the time. But what I can tell you is that they always ask, and the answer to have you had a foreclosure will always be yes, and that is looked at very negatively. It can impact your credit card rates, like your current credit cards. It can impact even your insurance rates, property insurance, car insurance, all sorts of it, life insurance. It could affect all the rates because you have a foreclosure on your credit. Now, there's another thing called a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and this only works when you have a first mortgage. You can't have a second, third, or any type of junior liens, only a first mortgage, and that is an amicable foreclosure, meaning the bank will give you $1,000 or a sum in that neighborhood, and you give them the keys, meaning you leave the property, and then they actually go through the foreclosure process, but they're not trying to evict you or get you out, or they're not going through the lengthy normal foreclosure process. That's why it's an amicable foreclosure. Now, that shows up on your credit just like it would a foreclosure. So if your bank proposes to do deed in lieu, they like that because it's easy for them, because you leave the property, they give you money, it's all done. But guess what? Your credit is still ruined. So in that option, when you legitimately, you don't want to keep your home, you don't have the ability to keep your home and continue making those mortgage payments, then in my opinion, the best option is a short sale. There's only, I can think of one exception why you would not want to do a short sale, and it's probably because your financials, you make too much money and you don't want the bank to see that you have that much money. But in that point, you're better off paying off the loan and taking that loss. That's the only time that I can think of foreclosure is not, a short sale is not beneficial. If the bank sees that you have the ability to make the mortgage payments, a lot of times they'll ask you for a cash contribution or for some type of promissory note, which is an unsecured debt. It's a promise to pay. So they do look at your financial situation and they evaluate if you have the ability to make your mortgage payments or if you don't. I think that's everything that I can think of for now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me for a free no obligation consultation, and we'll go over your particular situation. We've worked with hundreds of lenders. We have hundreds of contacts, and we know what each lender is likely to do in your particular situation, and we can give you the best advice possible. Again, we're not attorneys or tax accountants, but we're simply real estate professionals who have closed over 300 short sale transactions, and we'll give you our professional opinion. This is Paola Martinsen, the Short Sale Master, reminding you can bounce back.